Community, family, faith, and work. So let's start with community. Community is different aspects. One is having strong social relationships with friends and people that you can rely on, that can act as your support network, and that you can tell them uh, things that you need help with, and they can help you with, and you can get to a very deep level with, and they will help you through it. So that's one thing that's, you know, it's for sure, it seems to be something that she may have had. Based off her photos and everything online, it seems like she had that. She had a bunch of social aspects. But again, that's just based off what we saw online. Did she really? It seemed like she had at least one good friend because apparently she talked to one and she was devastated afterwards to the point where she was willing to come on to um, be interviewed by, I think it was like CNN or something, after the event occurred. And apparently she had talked to this person the day of her passing. So she seemed to have a strong relationship, but community spans beyond just social relationships. It also means things like giving back to others, having a sense of higher purpose or meaning, making the world a better place, contributing to others, feeling fulfilled, impacting and helping others, and those sort of aspects. So I don't know if she had any of that. Did she do any volunteer work, or did she really feel any type of real fulfillment or meaning in her life, or giving back and so forth? Perhaps not. And from what I've heard, she was a extreme perfectionist. She chased after um, her school because she wanted to be the top. She wanted the prestigious title of having a top Ivy League school. She joined track and field even though it took away a lot from her social life, which she was very concerned about, because she wanted that prestige of being a star athlete. And so those aspects may have actually taken away from her. You know, it's fascinating because for me, based off what I see in her Instagram photos and everything else, it seemed like she was a very, very attractive girl who had her fashion sense on point, who had many more social events and social gatherings and friends and opportunities to hang out and have fun than I did. And who knows if that's actually true. And perhaps she did go to these things, but for whatever other reason, it just wasn't fulfilling her, or whatever else. It wasn't really making her happy. Um, so that's another piece of the puzzle. And so looking back in my life, I do think that all this time spent looking at this, and I do think, especially online nowadays, these things influence you, and you want to stay away from these things. Resentment, envy, jealousy, greed, self-pity. Those things you want to stay far, far away from. And for me, in my past, I do think I should have just not taken it so hard on myself to think that, oh, all these people are having so much more fun than me doing all these activities that I wasn't invited to or whatever. So back on her though, there's community. Then moving on to the next pillar, family. So it seemed like she had a good family. She had, she was working on her family. She took photos with her family. She went to therapy sessions with her family. So honestly, I don't know what's going on with that. Then the next pillar is faith. From what I could tell, close to no level of faith based off anything I've heard about her, any type of religious faith or anything. Last pillar, work. So in her case, she was a student. It seemed like work didn't. I mean, I really don't know. For her, work would be what she did for a living in terms of what she was studying towards. You want to hit that state of flow where it's not too hard, but it's not too easy, and you just fully engage in what you do and you learn from it, and so forth. And you can definitely fall stagnant if you're not really, if you're in this place where you're just not sure of where you want to go, or you're not really engaged in your career or your job or whatever else, and it's just a thing to get by. So for her, I don't know if that's the case at all. Perhaps it was, perhaps it wasn't. Based off what I've seen of her online, it didn't seem to play a huge role. She was more enthused about track and field, which could be a form of work in itself. Um, so, this whole thing, it's very, very interesting. I do think that there are elements of happiness that really just people miss, and they chase other things that think will bring them happiness, which in reality do not. But modern society, for whatever other reason, they keep pushing out there because it's glamorous or amazing. Whether it's, oh, I have all these friends, I'm going to all these parties with all these attractive people, guys and girls, I'm a member of this prestigious organization, I go to this prestigious school, I have these good grades, da da da. And a great example of true happiness is the Amish folk. They are individuals, they are these communities of people who have chosen to live the simple life and have sworn off TV, television, electricity, and their rates of depression are a small fraction of what ours are. And they're still living today in the United States in their areas, and they're having a great time, and they're not worried about cars or fancy stuff or buying this and that. And if you go to other areas, certain areas in Japan where they're still living in small villages, the Okinawa way, I have a book on that. And if you go to developing countries, there are people beyond belief in terms of happiness. But we get so influenced by these negative things that we're not even aware of their presence. And they're just impacting us so much, affecting us in so many ways in terms of, oh, I need to buy this, I need this thing. And it's just a tragedy. So, again, unfortunately, from what I've learned about this girl, I don't think I ever really found out what was truly causing her state. Perhaps she didn't know herself. I don't think it was really released in any articles that was released about her. It was just, I feel like maybe she didn't know herself. That may just be the case, she seems to have all this stuff, but she still ends up having this feeling, and it's rather unfortunate. So, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough situation. So, other than those four pillars, I can't explain everything I've learned in this short video. Anthony Robbins, again, very helpful. Some of the books, somewhat helpful. But there are these 6 human needs. Let me just pull that up. And again, as I pull this up, it's just so ridiculous. Like, if you look at her Instagram page, it is just ridiculous. Honestly, it is. Because her photos are just, I'm scrolling through her photos now. It seems like she had such a life. Her on a beach with a bikini, her with her friends in gowns, her, taking photos with all these trophies, with all these different girls at her track and field events, her laughing, her sticking out her tongue, all this, like, she seems to be having such a blast everywhere. And then she has this, scholarship. She takes a photo of her getting a scholarship to the Arts and Sciences class of 2017 at the University of Pennsylvania. Pictures of her with her friends, pictures of her at prom. I mean, she had a life that seemingly a lot of people would have wanted. And she was very good looking, for sure. And she was, you see all these photos of her with all these outfits with her friends. And it just makes no sense based off her Instagram photos. Like, I can't harp on this enough. Okay, anyhow, the 6 needs of humans. Tony Robbins. I'm going to Google it now. I should know this off the top of my head, but here it is. The 6 basic needs of humans, according to Tony Robbins. Tony has been coaching and helping people with depression and all sorts of problems for 30 years. And so one of the things he says is, you'd have to be an idiot to not see some patterns of humans after me doing 30 years of work with him. I really just, it's fascinating. So here are the 6 needs. 1, certainty. Assurance you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Maddy seemed to have that, you know. She didn't have any problems with, getting food, feeling comfortable, security at her home, and gaining pleasure. She had access, seemingly, to social atmospheres. And if she wanted a boyfriend, she could have gotten a boyfriend. Whatever else. Number 2, uncertainty/variety, the need for unknown change and new stimuli. It seemed like she had a decent amount of that. She could go to different places, go to the beach, go to parties, go to whatever else. Significance, the feeling of feeling unique, important, special, or needed. I don't know about this because according to her, and according to her friends and everything, she was a extreme perfectionist to the point where it consumed her, and it became unhealthy. And she wanted the prestige and so forth. That is something you want to avoid because, perfect is just a word. You can't be perfect. Connection/love, a strong feeling of closeness or union with someone or something. I don't know if she really had this. I really don't know because on the surface it may seem like she did, but in reality, you don't know because maybe she put some distance between her and her friends and her family and anyone she could really get close to. We don't know if that's actually the case, regardless of what her Instagram photos tell you of her. Growth, an expansion of capacity, capability, or understanding. Was she constantly growing and learning and getting better? Perhaps she was on the track and field team. I don't know if she really was. It seems like maybe she possibly might have been more consumed about just getting higher, getting the prestige and so forth, rather than actually growing and learning new things, getting better and so forth, which this entailed her. The last one, contribution, a sense of service, a focus on helping and giving to and supporting others. Did she really have this at all? Perhaps not. She may have been more concerned about having a life that people wanted and showing that to the world and getting that perfection and prestige rather than actually contributing and helping others. So there's that in mind. Let me just, okay, I'm going to see if there's anything else. Another is a lack of, this is just from my own experience, not anything really. Tony Robbins does help talk on this. You must take yourself away from the small bubble that you have found yourself in and realize that the change that bring unhappiness may just be trivial in comparison to the problems of other people in the real world. And you can easily fall into this bubble, especially in some place like University of Pennsylvania where she went to school. You fall into the small bubble and you forget to, you don't realize the troubles that people outside of the world living right now are having. They're just looking to survive. All they want is a loaf of bread and they'd be happy. All they want is to, go to school and they would be happy. There's this Harvard phenomenon that's just like this. The top people all across the nation, they compete so much to get into Harvard, and then when they're there, they're just in this small little fishbowl, and many of them get very unhappy or depressed because all they see around them is people better than them, and they're just constantly competing in this small little world, unaware of everything going around them. And this is something that Tony Robbins talks about a lot. He says, he uses this analogy. If a man went up to you and put a gun to your head and told you to be happy, you'd find real quick some ways to be happy. I don't think that really works for everyone, especially people who are already really depressed. But the point of the analogy is to show you guys that A lot of things that are trivially chaining you down, they are beneath you. They're trivial things. In terms of the real world, there are people out there. Really, just if you look at it, I've seen so many videos on this. If you look around YouTube, search happiest man on earth. It's this man who literally has a wife and kids, and he is a traffic director in this developing country, and he lost his job as a banker, but he is happier beyond belief because he loves what he does, and he does it with such enthusiasm too. He's literally like boom, boom, and he loves what he does and he enjoys it. And no, does he have make a lot of money? Does he have all the stuff that you wish you had? No, he doesn't have an expensive car or any of that. But he loves what he does and he enjoys it so much. So, I mean, that's just one thing. What else can I think of? There's so many factors that maybe, I mean, it may or may not have made an influence on Maddie. What she dwells on. Does she think about the past too much? What is her focus in life? Is she constantly focused about being a perfectionist? Does she practice gratitude? I think this is a huge one. It's something I've been working on tremendously. Does she practice gratitude? I've made it into a sort of a routine. I think you should, for sure. I've read this in a lot of books. It's probably one of the best things you could do for your happiness. Write down or say to yourself at least once a day, especially 2 or 3 times, things you should be grateful for. Even if you think there's nothing, write down. And over time, you start to realize that there's a huge list of things you should be grateful for. And, repeat and remind yourself at least 2 or 3 times a day when you go to sleep, when you wake up, and make the list longer and longer as you do it. And do it on a daily basis. There are more and more things. The potential, the amazingness of life, the amazingness of science, of trees, of life, of living, of breathing, of the complexities and amazingness of human nature. And another practice you can take on is reminding yourself of the amazing, happy, awesome times in your life. If you're always focusing or dwelling on the negative, you forget about those positive, happy moments. And they may be sparse and far and few and in between. And you probably may have forgotten about them. But look and remember. I know for me, looking back, as I start to practice this, I'm starting to remember really happy times I've had in my life. Times I've forgotten. Times where it's just like, I had a blast and I was just having a great time. And I forget about those moments. And I remember the state I'm in. And, all those things you're chasing, you realize you don't need. And you realize that happiness can really come from within. There's this great song by, I forgot his name. He was a jazz singer, very well known. Oh, Michael Bublé. And I really applaud him for making this song because he was a very popular musician at the time. And all the songs at the time were about money, drugs. Oh, I have all these expensive cars. Things that trick the modern society to chase after. And he wrote a song which pretty much says, don't go higher for desire. You can find it in yourself. And it's a great song, and there's a music video with it. It's a very well-known song. And the basic idea is Michael Bublé. Let me see if I can find it yourself. Don't go higher for desire. The name of the song is Hollywood. And it's just look at the lyrics. Just look at the song. And he goes about, pretending to be all these rock stars and pop idols and so forth. And he says, you don't have to chase these things, this fame and all this stuff for desire. You can find it in yourself. And I think what he means is you can find happiness in yourself. And I really applaud him for making that song. He's probably impacted. I mean, the song has gotten 20 million views. And I really do think, I really applaud him for that because so many people, they go after chasing the wrong things for desire. And for me personally, there's a point not long ago where that song came on the radio. And I was at a supermarket, just at a loss for where I was at my life. And not in the best state. And honestly, I really do think that song has helped because it reminds you that you can find happiness within yourself right now. And to a certain extent, for sure, you are chaining yourself down a lot, and a lot of that happiness can be found right now in this moment. Okay, so this video has gotten so long. I really don't know if anyone out there is still watching this. So um, the last thing I want to say is find ways to make yourself laugh. Laughter and happiness go hand in hand, and I really do think it's helped scientifically and through studies. It's helped people who have gone through a lot of difficulties in life uh, in terms of illness and being hospitalized. It has been proven and shown to heal these people and get them better much faster. And there's this one person who literally just put on stand-up comedy for 6 hours a day and just watched that and laughed and laughed and laughed, and that literally healed him tremendously much quicker throughout his time at the hospital. And I really do think like that on its own can help you so much. So start watching and listening to things that make you laugh, make you happy. How often do you laugh on a daily basis? Having a sense of humor and having this fun and laughter can really, really help you tremendously. Surround yourself with people that make you laugh and have and make you have a great time. That can help you a great deal. And start watching stand-up comedy and so forth. Oh yeah, and the last thing is you can start looking to faith and religion if you want to. There have been studies done where double-blind studies where the people don't know they're being prayed for, but the people who are hospitalized and are being prayed for versus those who are hospitalized and aren't being prayed for, they seem to heal faster. So it's a weird concept, but there have been studies done that show this. So yeah, that's all I really want to say in a nutshell. Thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. Maddy Holleran, hopefully I can learn some lessons from this girl. And it's a bit of a pain just looking through her photos because I've looked through a lot of what's it called? I've looked through a lot of Instagram photos myself, and for one, she knows how to take her photos. For two, she has diversified her photos really, really well. And this is like, I mean, it just shocks me to no end. I mean, just looking through her photos now, you can, if you want to yourself, it really does seem like she has such an amazing life on here. You have photos of her, with her dad, just laughing and smiling, doing goofy photos, her kissing her boyfriend, her, at these restaurants taking photos of these amazing dishes, her on a tennis court in the rain with her friend as the rain pours down, just having a blast. Her with a group of her soccer friends. Apparently she played soccer too and was really good on a huge stadium soccer court. Her taking a photo of some amazing type of ice cream. Her on a beach with her friends in a bikini. I mean, she literally has hundreds of photos, and on and on and on. So, really, it's just really, really ridiculous. I really boggles my mind, and she's definitely on the highly attractive looking end. So, it really just confuses me to no end. And for me, I do think another huge thing is just appreciating every small thing. I don't know if she really just sat there, and this is another thing I'm just working on doing every day. If I'm eating ice cream, I just appreciate every spoonful of ice cream as I take it in my mouth. I don't know if she did that when she took those photos of those amazing gourmet pieces of food that she had on there, or if she was just so focused or pursuing this perfectionist great lifestyle and so forth that she didn't really appreciate the ice cream. She just ate it. So I'm working on those things, and they may be helpful for you. I mean, I don't want to look through these photos too much because, again, like, it really just blows my mind. Her photos, really, it's just like ridiculous. Her in these beautiful gowns, her like in a bikini with the sundress on, her at prom, her with these shoes. Okay, okay, that's it. I'm cutting it out. I have now closed that Instagram page. So again, it goes to show you, you know, you may want to cut out social media because you can get drawn into that jealousy and I wasn't really jealous or anything, but you could definitely get drawn into that sort of stuff. And so again, avoid these traits. Self-pity, that's a huge one. Avoid self-pity at all costs. Instead, self-love. Self-love and praise for yourself are tremendous things. Avoid resentment, envy, jealousy, and greed. And take on all these traits and enjoy your time on earth. Appreciate every moment. Realize the true things that matter, not the lifestyle, not going to these great places, not having these great foods, not any of that. Because those things are icing on the cake. If you eat icing on its own, it's just pure trash. You must have the foundational elements first before you, and that's really all that really matters. Not all this fancy stuff. And in addition to all that, I guess I have a homework assignment for you. I really do think this book will help tremendously. And I recommend you read this over and over again. And then from there, start reading other books by this author. This is going to be a kind of weird book that you've never heard of. But this book, I guarantee you, it will help you a lot. So here's my homework assignment for you. Read 21 Secrets to Success and Happiness by Sir John Templeton. This is a man who was happy and fulfilled until the time he died. And he was grateful and the hardest worker you can ever imagine. A real old-fashioned type of man who worked his butt off and became a billionaire from nothing. And what I respect more about him, other than how he built his wealth from nothing, at a time when a billionaire wasn't even a thing, was that he did it, and he did it with these core tenets of gratitude, happiness, fulfillment, that he teaches and he believes is more important than anything in terms of accumulating wealth. So check that book out, 21 Secrets to Success and Happiness. I will try and, if I remember, leave links in these videos, in the comments below. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you later.